Welcome to You Are the Magic, the podcast that is supporting women across the world to claim their magic within. I am your host, Deb D, and it's my absolute delight to share with you some of the amazing women that I know who are living big lives and making magic happen. They will be inspiration for you. I'm also going to be sharing with you some solo episodes with a little bit more about my story, the magic that I'm activating, and how you too can ignite and activate the magic within you. Because I believe it to be true. I do believe that you are the magic. And I do believe that it's time for women to reclaim our magic, our intuitive leadership, and our unique gifts and talents so that we can be the wave of change that we know the world needs now. So join me in connecting to the magic in you, the magic of women, and let's share just a little piece of how that magic can be activated today. Welcome, my friend, to the next episode of You Are the Magic with me, your host, Deb D. Today, it's just you and me. And we are going to explore the world, the wonderful world of women and our stories, and why now is the time that we need to be telling them. So often, women's stories are a part of You Are the Magic. It's not always just me. I interview women, I share stories and time with women who are living big lives and making the magic happen. And we get to learn through them and through their stories what they're up to and how that's changing the world. This is a part of You Are the Magic. This is a part of the work that I do. And today I want to take this moment with just you and me and have a moment in, can we connect to all of our stories? Can you find your story? And are you willing to tell it now? Because we need it. We do need it. The other thing about today's episode is this. We're live, people. We are live. When You Are the Magic started almost a year ago, I would go live every week because I love it. I love going live. I'm the girl who's like, give me the mic, throw me on stage, I'm good to go. When I've been sharing stories with other women, I have been pre-recording those. But when it came to the moment where it's you and me, I was like, I'm going live. And I'm expanding our audience today. So when we go live to YouTube, Big Life Magic YouTube channel, to Facebook. And today we welcome LinkedIn. Today we are streaming also to LinkedIn. So welcome to all of the women and all the people on LinkedIn who have clicked in to this episode of You Are the Magic. And let's just take a moment, because maybe you're new and you're like, who's this blonde and what's this magic she's talking about? Because I get it. We're a little bit like, is this for me? Let me tell you, it is for you. My name is Deb D, and the work that I do in the world is I'm reminding women, you're freaking magical. And part of the reason why I need to remind women is not because they lost it. It's because it's been edged out over years and generation. So there's this edging out. There's this narrative of woo-woo, that intuition stuff, it's not allowed. That's been the narrative for so long. So I'm reminding women, actually, you are freaking magical. And then what you going to do about that? And what's magic? It's the most often asked question. I get it. People are curious. Magic's a bit divisive for some people. For me, the definition of magic is the intentional direction of energy. We all have energy. We get to choose where we direct it. For me, I'm directing it towards reminding women that they're freaking magical and then inviting them to play into what you're going to do about that. For some others, that magic is different. If you're a mother, your magic is in raising kind children. If you're a leader of a non-profit organization, your magic is in sharing the mission of that organization in a way that compels people to join you in the change. And I'm guessing by now you're picking up what I'm putting down. So this is me. This is You Are the Magic, is about women and our stories. And today I want to talk about why it's important that we tell our stories and why it's important that we do that now. So let's begin as we wish to continue, which means we begin with a story. It's that weird week between Christmas and New Year, and it's the weirdest of these weeks that I've ever had. I am shattered. I am broken open. 1 month earlier, Nick, my best friend and the man I've fallen in love with, he calls me late at night and he says, I love you and I'm sorry. Nick hangs up the phone and then takes his own life. It's the first time death has come knocking into my life. I am on the edge of turning 21 and the world has broken me. I'm with my family in Sydney. We're all in my sister's house crammed in, which means I'm in the spare room, sharing the room with 3 other sisters. I've got the single bed mattress that's up against the wall, and this becomes my place and my space. I am going to well in all of my pain on that single bed mattress because Christmas, I ain't into you. There's nothing to celebrate. One day, my sister Kathy comes to find me on my mattress and she says, Deborah, I just finished reading this book and I think you'll really like it. She then hands me the book and changes my life. The opening lines are, Morgane speaks. In my time, I have been known as many things. Sister, lover, priestess, queen. And there it is in that opening line, Morgane has me. Who's this Morgane? Oh, why does she get to be the sister and the queen and the priestess? And I find myself in this narrative, not only with Morgane, but also with Igraine, Morgause, and Guinevere. The book is The Mists of Avalon, which is an amazing narrative told by Marion Zimmer Bradley. And it is the story of the time of King Arthur and Camelot, told through the eyes of the women in his life. So we have Morgane, his sister, Igraine, his mother, Morgause, his aunt, and Guinevere, his wife. Now, I know the story of King Arthur and Camelot, and there's a round table and Lancelot and Guinevere runs away with Lancelot. Like, I know that story. But I never knew about Igraine. I never knew about Morgane. Like, to this day, I still want to be Morgane. Like, she's my heroine. She's the wise woman. And through that story, I, on that single bed mattress, began to come back to life because I saw a narrative for me. You see, when I was 19, turning 20, I got my first deck of tarot cards and I shuffled them and I was excited. And I, kind of moved into this, I could be a healer. I could be this woman in the world. So when Nick started to speak about wanting to take his own life, I convinced myself it's my job as the woman who loves him to save him. And I didn't. That was the deepest part of my pain. Not only that Nick was gone, but that I wasn't the woman who could save him. And then I have Morgane and Igraine and Morgause, and their stories of being wise, healing women who wield their magic. And sometimes they get it right. Sometimes they heal, and sometimes they fuck it up. And it was the first time I saw a narrative of woman that mirrored me, and it changed everything for me. Changed everything. Just take a breath now and say, is there a story in your life that actually changed everything for you? And was it a story of a woman? Was it a heroine? I gotta ask this now because it's true about the world. Let's just call the spade the spade. The stories that have shaped our world have been told mostly through the eyes and with the pens of men. It just is. Like in the Miss of Avalon, part of the narrative that I also found deep crevice and delight in was, at the time, what's written in this story is women shifted from being the wise women, the midwives, the herbalists, the healers, into evil. And magic became something that needed to be silenced because Christianity was sweeping across what is now known to us as the United Kingdom. So this is also this other narrative that I saw for women around the shifting of our power. And again, let's just call the spade the spade. I don't necessarily need to have a long conversation about history being his story. I mean, I think we all know that. I think we're pretty jiggy by now about the stories that we're all living in. Yes, and I believe we're changing them. We do have more heroines. We do have more films and TV shows and bigger platforms for women to tell their story. Yes, it is shifting and changing. And I'm going to invite you into, are you a part of that change? Because if you're somebody who believes the future is female, then I invite you to tell your story, because that future is going to be crafted, molded, and shaped by the stories that we tell. Because the world we live in now, the world that we have had for generations, has been just that. It has been crafted by the stories. Because this is also true. Not only am I somebody who, for more than 25, close to 30 years, has been working in spiritual practice and healing modalities, I am also somebody who has had a long-term love affair with storytelling. I'm an applied theatre practitioner. I'm an author. I work with people's stories with narrative therapy. And this I know to be true. Stories shape our world because stories shape our brain. Stories are how we understand the world. Stories are how we learn and how we connect. If you tell someone a story, you are literally going to break open their whole brain. All of their brain's going to light up. You tell someone a stat or a fact, you're going to get a little bit of sparkle here. Not all hemispheres. Even if the stat is stunning, shocking, you're not lighting up the whole brain. We are literally creating neuro pathways, our thoughts and our beliefs based on the stories, because those stories help to create our brain, and our thoughts create our reality, and yada, 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 yada. Are you with me? So if the future is female, the future is the stories that we tell. So what story are you telling? Are you telling your story? And I want to invite this. It doesn't have to be the story of, I'm the heroine and I overcame the thing and look at me. Sure, if you have that story, you bring it. But if your story is about something that is deeply personal, that was transformative for you, maybe you find a way to share that story. This is the other thing. There's the hero's journey. In the hero's journey, the hero seeks to overcome the villain and the adversity. And the hero does, which is why we get the happy ending. Hello, Hollywood, Pixar. What about the heroine's journey? The heroine's journey is about the internal transformations. I invite you, claim and own your heroine's journey. Be the star of your story, because it will change the world, story at a time, neuropathway at a time, belief at a time. Sharing your story, deeply powerful, can be fun and not easy for us all, because our stories have been edged out. The narratives have been written for us. Like Eve. Where's Eve's story? Eve in the Garden of Eden? She's wrong. She ate the apple. Whose story was that? Whose version of that? So I get it. It's a tricky landscape to find that unique voice for yourself, and I want to invite it forward, and I want to invite it in this way. Find the spaces that are safe, because this is what I know. It is so powerful. It turns up in my work all the time. I'm working with a woman one-on-one, and she is transforming a big loss in her life. And I share with her a part of my journey with the transformation of my loss after my son Sage's death. That story shifts something in her, and she is able to take that narrative forward. How I understand most of the women who I work with is through the stories that they tell about their past and their present and their desired future. In the Big Life Magic Makers, the community that we have for women who are saying, yeah, I'm freaking magical and I'm going to do something about it, I want to hang out with my soul sisters. That's the Big Life Magic community. Sure, I teach stuff in there. Like, I'm teaching about your intuition and how you can connect to it and how you can trust it. And we've got spiritual scaffolding. All of that is in there. And the game changer moments are when a woman tells a story and you can see the out-breath of the other women. The story has now just changed for us all. I also have the absolute honor of being a lead facilitator and a coach for Fearless Communicators. Fearless Communicators is a dynamic public speaking business that invites everybody to tell their story. And in that, my work is focused on working with women leaders. So I'm toe to toe, heart to heart with powerful women, and I'm inviting them to not only craft their story powerfully, but to share it. And in that moment, do you know what's there? Shame, blame, doubt, worry, anxiety, a little bit of excitement, a little bit of possibility as well. But there's a whole heap that needs to be shifted, because, yeah, we got a glass ceiling, my wonderful women friends, and I'm going to call it, we got glass walls, and we've got a whole heap of glass within us. And how can we smash that? Start telling your story. Smash. Tell your story again. Boom. And you watch the ripples change in your life and in the life of the women around you. What about the young girls in your life? What stories are they hearing? If the future is female, it is going to be crafted by the stories that we tell, the stories that we listen to. And this is why it's important that now we tell these stories. As we watch women step up into positions of power, as we see the age of Aquarius coming, as we see the changes in the world, as we all acknowledge the old way is crumbling and we are rising through the dust. And one way you can be active in that is by telling your story. I get it. It's not always the easiest thing to start by telling one person. Or if you've been telling your story for a while, you go and find a bigger platform, because your story is needed. All stories. All stories. Now, I am somebody who, I do the thing. Like, I'm not the spiritual teacher or the energy guide that tells somebody else to work in this way unless I have done it myself or I know that it works. And so if I'm here talking about stories and why we need to tell them now, I guess I need to tell you my story of now, because I do have a new story And this story has not been out in the world ever. Story premiere right now. This is my story, and this is the story that I wish to continue to share. It is the story that shapes the work that I am doing now. And I'll tell you, like, I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit nervous. This is a new story. This is a new way of me sharing, and I'm going to claim it. It's a new way of me shaping the world that I want to live in. So take a big, deep breath for me now. Like, send me some good vibes, because here we go. The new story, the story I want to tell now. It's pitch black, and I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, and my 4-year-old feet don't quite touch the ground, and I need to whisper because my sisters are asleep and I can't wake them up, but I know I need to do it tonight. I hold my hands in prayer position and I reach out to them and I say, you need to go away. Spirit friends, you are getting me into trouble. I need you to go away because I want to be a good girl. They heard my prayer and they went away. By the time I'm 14, I've forgotten about spirit friends and I don't even think about intuition because I'm Debra the smart girl. My intellect is getting all the gold stars and I'm loving it. I get to be in the smart kid class at school because I'm smart. When we get the new home computer, the Apple computer that's at home in Dad's office, I'm the kid in the family that's given the time at the computer because I'm smart. Gold star for me, I am intelligent. And in that awkward teenage way, I know I'm kind of missing something, but I don't know what it is. By the time I'm 19, I'm no longer at home. I am now living my best life in the big city where I'm studying theatre at university. I've got all these fabulous new friends, and in my hand, I have a deck of Oracle tarot cards, my first deck. And as I shuffle that deck, I feel myself shuffling back together. Oh, this connection to the universe and like spirits and my intuition. It feels like I'm coming home. It feels good. And there it is, Debra, the one connected to spirit, intuition, gold star. By the time I'm 20, it starts to shape within me this duality. Debra, you're so smart. Your intellect is sharp. Oh, Debra, you've got this amazing connection to the universe. Your intuition is always correct. And I play with them both. I become one or the other, depending on where I turn up in the world. 20s, 30s, into my 40s, I play this game of shuffle because it's working for me. If I'm in a business or a leadership space, intellect, let's lead with intellect. If I'm in a place with women that feels safe, oh, intuition, please sing. And I play in being both, but never both together. Until I find some safe spaces and I start to explore that and I build big life magic, but I'm still feeling it building inside me. And then there's the morning that I wake up. It's an ordinary morning of my 49th year. And there it is. That song from Shrek. I haven't watched that movie in years. And that song is on repeat in my mind, that particular line. Only shooting stars break the mold. Now, as an intuitive energy guide, I do know if you wake up in the morning and there's a song playing in your head, that is an intuitive hit. That's your intuition trying to tell you something. And so I know this. Only shooting stars break the mold. Only shooting stars break the mold. Only shooting stars break the mold. What are you trying to tell me? I didn't know. I could feel it. It was visceral. I could really, like, it was okay, what is it? What is it? What is it? And this is the thing with the intuition, like you're going to get the hit and it's going to take a while to figure it out. And then I figured it out. I am the shooting star. I am the shooting star, and I will dare to break the mold. I claim it. I claim it here with you now. I am Deb D. I am intuitive and intelligent, and I work with them both. And that is my magic for myself and for other women, so that together we can break the mold. Because for years, women have needed to be one or the other. You are a smart woman. You're allowed in this space. We'll listen to you in this space because you're smart. Or you're one of those intuitive women. You're over there. No. New stars are rising now, and they are shooting towards the mold that we are breaking. We are shooting stars breaking the mold. We are women who are intelligent and intuitive, and that is our superpower. That is the essence of women's wise, intuitive leadership. That's the future that I'm here to create. Yes, my friends, I claim it for myself and for others, because I'm Deb D. I'm a shooting star, gold stars for me, for you. Let's get busy breaking this mold and telling stories that are going to create the world that we are moving into, the future that we want for everyone. Because the stories have already been told. We don't need to do anything about the old story. I invite you now, what's your new story? Because it's your shining star. Shoot it. Yes, my friends, let's call it. The future's female. We're going to write the story. We're doing that right now. I'm doing that with the work that I do, with the women who I work with. I breathe it in and believe it to be true. You've got a story and I want to hear it. I invite it forward. That's what we do here. You Are the Magic. It is a platform for women to tell their stories. And we've got lots of amazing stories coming up. And I'm already starting to fill the calendar for stories for women in 2025. So if you're listening now and you're like, Deb, I got a story, you can reach out to me, because the 2025 calendar for our guests for You Are the Magic is filling up right now. One thing that is a beautiful part of You Are the Magic is every episode is dedicated. And I just kind of spontaneously did this in the first episode, and now it's like a part of what we do here. And so I am going to dedicate this episode to an absolute star in my life. I dedicate this episode to Jill Mokes. Jill and I connected, I don't know, maybe a year or so ago, and we instantly kind of went, you, and we've started to work together. Jill has helped me in building the scaffolding I need on the inside to step into my leadership. Jill is my business coach. She's an amazing coach for women, and she invites them to play big. Jill is also someone who said yes to me. She said, in order to play big, I need to say yes to my intuition. And so we've been working on bringing this intuitive wisdom alive in Jill. Oh, my nose is going crazy. And so Jill, I dedicate this episode to you because you have been a grounding place for me to return to when I have felt small, when it has felt scary. But you've also been that place too where that morning I woke up and that Shrek song was playing about the shooting star. Early that morning, I literally had a coaching session with Jill. So I had a Zoom room to go into and say, Jill, guess what? And Jill continues to remind me, Debra, you are the shooting star, and I want to see you break that mold. And we all need that. We need somebody who is on our side and reminding us when we forget or when it feels scary that you are freaking magical. So Jill, I want to say thank you to you, because you have been a shape shifter of my world since we connected. And you have been sparkling my star. I do the same for you, and I will be for your forever cheerleader. Now, my friends, taking a breath, who's a woman in your life who supported you to either tell your story or stood up for you or reminded you that you're freaking magical? Send them a blessing right now, because that energy will ripple, because we're also creating the world with that intentional direction. You know what? I've just had such fun. It's been such fun being live with you all. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for being with your story. Thank you for sharing your story. And, you know, it's true. It just is, without a doubt. It is true, my friend, that it's you. You are the magic. Big love. Thank you for sharing your time and your magic with me in the latest episode of You Are the Magic. I invite you now to stay connected to that magic within you. You may choose to connect via ATTUNE. It's a 5-day audio activation that's going to connect you to your intuition and then turn the volume of that inner guidance system up. You may also choose to become a member of the Big Life Magic Makers. It's our virtual community for women who are saying, yeah, I'm freaking magical, and I want to be hanging out with some soul sisters who not only believe in their magic, but are supporting each other to activate it. There's so many ways you can support your magic today with your intuition, through community, by connecting to me, and I invite you to choose you and your magic now. If this episode or any of these episodes have supported you in any way, I would love your support by sharing a review on the platform that you are listening or watching on. It really helps me to get this podcast into more ears and more hearts so we can claim it as women. We are freaking magical, and we are going to activate our magic to create the changes in the world that are moving us towards more love, abundance, prosperity, and joy. Breathe it in, believe it to be true. And to you, my friend, you are the magic.